Hello, my name is Ms. Romero. I am your child's math teacher. Thank you for joining me for our virtual back to school night. I wanted to give you guys an insight of what our classroom is going to look like. So let me start off by telling you guys about myself and let me introduce myself to you guys. I'm a graduate from Cal State San Bernardino. I graduated with my bachelor's in liberal studies. I also went to Cal State for my credentials program. I got my single subject credentials in mathematics from Cal State San Bernardino. I am Mexican American, a first generation student. I know many of our students are first generation students, and I know many of our students, have questions sometimes about college, even high school. So I'm here to support them through any questions that they have about college or high school. I know sometimes I don't have the answers, but I will, I'll go out of my way and I'll go on Google or I'll contact the school and I can ask them to clarify on the answers for that question that your child may have. I am also here to help support them with any other classes. Sometimes students don't feel as comfortable going into, their English class and getting help. So I'm here, I can help them with that, I don't mind. So my philosophy as an educator is to teach students the fundamentals of the subject through critical thinking, problem solving, writing, social skills. By teaching students these basic fundamentals, they will be successful not only in my subject, but in other classes as well. Students will learn how to be critical thinkers and they will learn how to do collaborative group work. So this will benefit them when they move on to high school and college. So next, I want to talk about my progressive discipline plan. I will give students who have behavioral issues 3 warnings total. The first warning will be a verbal warning and we will discuss their behavior one-on-one. This will either be during lunch or after school. The second warning will be reviewing rules and procedures. We will be talking about the student's behavior and what I can do to help the student correct their behavior. I will also be contacting parents and we will create a behavior plan that the student will have to follow. So when I contact you guys, I will already have that behavior plan set up with the child. So I'll just be contacting you guys and letting you guys know what that plan is. If the student's behavior is still not improving and I have to give them a third warning, then I will schedule a parent-teacher conference, and at that point, I will be bringing administration in. So that would be either the principal or the vice principal. Now, I know I talked about, the consequences if your child has a behavior issue, but I also plan on, rewarding students who are on task and are obtaining a passing grade in my class. So that means, they're not missing any assignments, they're on task all the time, their behavior is just, they're the example of the class. I'm hoping that by doing these activities, let me go back. What I plan on doing is I plan on doing a pizza party for the students. And I'm hoping that by doing these activities, it will help motivate students to do all their assignments and avoid conflict with others. So I know that at times it's difficult to get a hold of you due to work schedules or unforeseen circumstances. I ask that you please let me know what the best phone number and email address is so that I can contact you if it has to get to that point. So it is important for parents to be a part of their child's education because it will help the child succeed. Now, I don't want you guys to assume that because I'm calling you, it means that your child is, performing poorly or that their behavior has been an issue. I will be also making positive phone calls. So what that means is that I will contact you to let you know when your child is, being an extraordinary student. I think it's important for us to communicate with each other, not only when their behavior is, an issue, but also when students are succeeding in my classroom. So my overall goal for my student is to provide students with an inclusive learning environment. So I want to, sorry, I lost my train of thought. So I want to have students feel comfortable asking questions. This will help students comprehend the material, which leads them to apply the concepts to real life events. I will also help support cultural differences. So by doing community circles, students get to know one another and they get to understand each other's culture. During the circles, all students will share their responses to the prompts that I have displayed on the whiteboard. This will help students learn about one another and it will create a welcoming environment as well. So these community circles will also help with inclusivity in the classroom. So there's a lot of benefits to having this community circle. Now that we're on the topic of the community circles, let me share what my weekly routine is. On Mondays, I decided to make those days community circle days. The periods are a lot shorter those days. Since the students have minimum days, I think it would be a nice transition for the students to get back to the school life. right after their weekend break. Sometimes it's a little tough for them to go back on that routine on Mondays. Okay, so Tuesday through Friday, students will enter the class and they will begin working on their starter the first 10 minutes of class. The starter will have questions that the students will have to solve during those 10 minutes. So the starter will be independent group work. After that, we will go over our learning target and then we'll begin the lesson for the day. During classwork, I plan to do collaborative group work. I will have students work in small groups at specific times during the class. The purpose of this group is that students will be able to get additional help from one another. At times, students are afraid to ask me for help, and by providing them the opportunity to work in these groups, they will ask their classmates for help. This activity also helps students see the different methods that there are to solve a problem. Sometimes students find a small shortcut to finish a problem, and the other students will be able to help them learn the techniques or teach them the techniques. Technology is also a learning tool for students. Yes, it may be a distraction at times. However, I plan to use technology in my classroom. Students will be assigned homework through iExcel. So iExcel is a website that helps students practice the material that we covered in class. At times, I will have students do iExcel problems during class, so it is important that they bring their computer with them at all times, and I ask that you please make sure that your student's computer is charged. Now, let me go back to the whole community circle. So the community circle is going to provide a safe space for students to share about their culture. It'll talk about the importance of being accepting of others. So that's the whole concept of inclusivity. And then they'll feel comfortable about themselves. So I will also provide prompts that will help us start the conversation. So it is important for the students to learn about one another because they are in the same class the majority of the day. There are times that students are shy to make new friends through this activity. Students will be able to see who they have similar interests with. This activity will also help students engage in classroom discussions. Now, this is not to say that the only people participating is the students. In fact, I will be participating in the community circles as well. I will be sharing about myself. I can't ask students to share about themselves if I do not want to share about myself. So I will set the example and I will share my answers to the prompts that I have posted at the day of the community circles. So it is important that students get to know me as well because it will help me build a healthy student-teacher relationship with your child. This will help the students feel comfortable in my classroom and they will most likely ask me questions when they are confused about the material. Now, if you want more questions about if you have any questions about the community circle and if you want to know about the type of questions that I am going to be asking your child, please feel free to contact me and I will send you a copy of the questions. That was all I had for today. Thank you guys for joining me and I hope you have a great day.